All right, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic, and that's going to be Bronny James. As you guys know, Bronny has received quite a bit of hype. Um, and I think that there's an idea that people are hating on kids, right? He's a 19-year-old kid who's in the NBA, and he's a kid. He's a kid. Kids do not join the NBA. Okay, you have to be an adult to be in the NBA. You can't join as an underage child. And I get it. He's LeBron's child, but he's not a child. So we have to stop saying that people are hating on kids. We know that I think Bronny is, what is he, like 2 for 20 at this point in the preseason games? He's played a total of probably 40 minutes. I think he got on the court last night for about 9 or 10 minutes. He went 1 for 5. So at the end of the game in garbage minutes, he was able to drive in the lane and score a layup. But the other shots were bricks. And prior to that game, he was shooting bricks as well. And even in the last game, I think what was considered like really, really just, oh my gosh, it was just so horrible that so he goes into the game in the fourth quarter. I think he played a total of 9 minutes yesterday, but what made it bad was that they had Draymond Green guarding him. Draymond Green was doing everything possible to let him score and give him some easy buckets, and Bronny still couldn't hit wide open threes. Draymond gave him the floor to shoot wide open threes, and he could not hit. Okay? Then Steve Kerr, I guess Steve Kerr is a part of this whole nonsense and the circus. He goes ahead and subs in Steph Curry, and they were blowing the Lakers out. What is he coming back in the game at the end of the fourth quarter for? What? All to have like some sort of photo op moment with Bronny. Like, oh, Bronny's guarding Steph Curry. Whoop-de-doo. Like, that was just crazy to me. The Warriors were blowing out the Lakers. It was an embarrassment. By the way, Quincy Olivares, the guy who showed up, Hood Schifino, as well as Bronny James, who both have contracts and have made the team, he didn't get any minutes. And he scored, what did he score? 11 points in like 3 or 4 minutes? He came in and cooked. He outplayed Bronny, outplayed Hood Schifino, outplayed a lot of the bums that have, contracts on the Lakers team. And he had to sit this game. Probably because they're going to cut him, but you're going to cut an actual qualified NBA player for somebody who's not qualified. And so there's a lot of narratives going around about Bronny. And, we just need to give him a year to develop. Can we give him a year? I think that's what DC Slim said on our call last Friday. I mean, he's had years to develop. How much more resources and development does he need? He's had the best of everything. He's had the best resources from his dad. Why isn't he equipped? Why isn't he ready to be in the NBA? Why? And so there's a huge focus on why people in the media are even talking about Bronny being so bad. Oh, why are you focusing on the 55th pick being so bad? Gilbert Arenas, he talks about it on Gil's Arena with his team, and he gets really passionate about the media and analysts trashing Bronny and crashing out on him when he's not playing well. He admits that, but he thinks that it's just no big deal. He's a 55th pick. Why are we focused on him? And he can't seem to understand it. And I want to play this sound bite for you guys so that we can talk about it. But it's just really, it's interesting to me that we can congratulate Bronny, but we can't criticize him. So I'm going to go ahead and play this sound bite for you guys, and then we'll react to it.
So it's not part of this media's narrative. I'm starting to hate these people.
What people get?
The media, like the ones that don't know sports, they're more like reality, right? When you start really talking now, you really understand that. Who was the one they filmed his house, and he's like, I thought this was about my job. That. Yeah. It's like, what does my house have to do with the sport? Same thing with here. It's like, you focus so much on how bad you think Bronny's playing when he's the 56th. He's not the number 1 pick in the draft. You don't need to focus on the man so much like he's the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick in the draft. There was a stat that went out that said
about the first 54 picks.
Yeah. He was a minus 40
through the first 3 preseason games.
First 3 preseason games, he ranked last. Cool. Who ranked second to last? That should be a story. That's the number 2 pick in the draft. Unfortunately, he's plays for the Wizards, but that's the number 2 pick in the draft, and that's not a story. You want to focus on the 56th pick, and the number 2 pick is right in front of him. Like, come on. Like, relax. Yeah. Like, it's like I understand that you. That's why I said it's. I considered immature analysts.
Absolutely.
It's low hanging fruit. It's easy to pick on the fucking 56th pick in the draft. Right? Every time he don't get in, oh, he got a DMP. Oh, he got a DMP. He didn't play like he's the 56th pick in the draft.
55th.
55th.
Yeah, but see,
does it matter?
Yeah, I'm just trying to give him a plug.
There's just
what I'm saying is because his daddy's who his daddy is, and you don't like the daddy, it's easy to pick on the son. Come on, don't do that. Throw rocks at the throne. If he's the throne, if he's the king, pick on the king. Stop picking on the guy who's trying to get his career going.
We're not going to allow it though.
I don't like that.
We're not going.
Like I just said, if Bronny was a top 5 pick, have at it.
Yeah.
But he got picked exactly where his talent is right now and where his media exposure should be. Yeah, right? Is the 50th, I mean, if he's the 55th pick, is the 54th pick getting more exposure than him? No, we don't even know who that is.
Is the first?
We don't even know who the 54th pick is.
I don't even know who the first pick was.
Zacho,
I said no comment.
I forgot who was the first.
We like that you said no comment.
Said no
but
comment.
it's a great listen.
Said no
I just
comment.
told you.
What was the dude's name?
Who? The first pick?
No. The guy.
The second pick.
No. The guy who played well. Start with a Q. What's the
Quincy Oliveri.
That's his name?
Yep. Undrafted.
He's undrafted?
Yep.
What'd he do? Because you run his stats?
Smack Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham in that preseason game against the Bucks.
What was
he had like 11 points.
11 points in like 3-4 minutes or something?
No, it was 10.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's still really good to score 11 points in about 10 minutes. I mean, there are NBA players that score 2 points in 44 minutes, like Draymond Green. So, for Quincy Olivares to come in and basically play for his life, to play for a spot on the team, to not get one, to go undrafted. And I get it. Like, perhaps they played him so that, he could get a chance to land on another team, but why wasn't he given a real opportunity to play for the Lakers? Why is Gilbert Arenas sitting there saying that he was picked that he was drafted at a place that reflected his talent? He was drafted in a place that doesn't reflect his talent because he shouldn't have been drafted. He shouldn't be drafted. He shouldn't be in the G League either. The G League it's a rough place. It's not some cookie cutter league. They really ball in the G League. They play physical. They play hard. They're playing for their lives because they want a contract. They're not coddled. They're not being coddled into the league like Bronny. They're not being handed a 4-year contract. Gilbert Arenas, he's missing the mark on so many different areas. So it's not just that Bronny is in the league. It's not just that, we're focusing on him as a 2nd-round pick. That's not the case at all. We're focusing on Bronny because of the hype that he's received. We were told that he was going to be a great player. We were told that he was better than half of the players in the league right now. That's what LeBron tweeted and said. And so if anybody doesn't remember that tweet, I can go ahead and put that up. But that's what happened. LeBron James said that Bronny was better. And we can't, he said that Bronny could suit up for the Lakers right now. That's what LeBron said. Let's see, is this one it? Yeah. Man, Bronny's definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. Shit, lightweight, hilarious. Really, LeBron? That's not what we're seeing. We're seeing that he's dead last. And Gilbert Arenas wants to talk about the first pick in the draft that's second to last. Nobody's hyping that guy up. Nobody hyped up Zachary Resarche, or however we say his name. Nobody hyped him up. Nobody sat there and said that he was going to be better than most of the players that are already in the league. Nobody said that. LeBron said that. He put a target on Bronny's back. He put that target there. The media helped him put that target there because, he's owning the media, right? He owns the media. It's the La Media. ESPN pretty much is in the pocket of LeBron. They can't figure out if they want to pull back a little bit because they're embarrassing themselves and the integrity of the network. But essentially, Gilbert Arenas is saying, hey, you're only supposed to praise Bronny. We're just supposed to talk about this historical feat of, a father and son duo on the league in the league, which, by the way, is not impressive. It's not impressive when you don't deserve to be there. If Bronny was even halfway qualified to be in the league, we probably would be celebrating. But how can we celebrate something that's not good? How can we celebrate 8 combined turnovers between a father and son on the floor? Bronny got 4 turnovers in a matter of 10 minutes. How is that even possible? And look, I want to congratulate Bronny because he's coming out looking to be more aggressive, looking to shoot the ball more. I think that improved since what we saw from Summer League. But his shooting form is not there. He should not be shooting the ball. And I don't know why we're wasting these minutes on him in preseason games and getting blown off the floor. JJ Redick, he did nothing to try to turn that game around. JJ Redick should be ashamed of himself. I suspect that he's going to lose the locker room. No one can respect a coach that is putting somebody in the game that doesn't deserve to be on the floor, that passes up the person that outplayed that other guy. Bronny's not even just the guy. He's not good. He doesn't belong. He's not just the guy who's on the bench. He's somebody who's genuinely not good at playing the sport. Bronny did an interview with, I think it was Men's Health magazine. And, I don't really know too much about what it was about, but Gilbert Arenas wants us to praise Bronny, but not criticize him. So we're allowed to give him all the hype in the world, but we're not allowed to criticize him. And that doesn't make sense to me. I can't get jiggy with that. Where we're just going to talk about LeBron and Bronny being on the floor together because they're father and son, but the Lakers might miss the playoffs because they don't have qualified NBA players on their team, because they still haven't solved for a center, but they solved for Bronny's roster spot. That doesn't make sense to me. Jeannie Buss and the Lakers, they should be ashamed of themselves. They are a disgrace. They are making a mockery of the NBA. LeBron James and Bronny, this duo, is making a mockery of the NBA. The NBA should be ashamed of itself. You can get involved in block trades like Chris Paul to the Lakers, but you can't get involved and make sure that qualified NBA players are being drafted. Jeannie Buss, you're going to allow this spectacle when you're one of the most winningest franchises in the world, in the history of the sport? Clutch Sports, they must have something on Jeannie Buss. I can't believe that. I just can't believe that Jeannie is fully on board with LeBron doing this. Something had to change. Something changed in the relationship that Jeannie and LeBron have and Clutch has with the Lakers. Something had to change, because she went from tweeting negatively about LeBron and Clutch essentially to them sort of battling it out in the press with, negative stories bouncing, all around the media. She even has come out and stated that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, not LeBron. So I wonder, what leverage did Clutch have? Is it the players in the league that they can make it really tough for Jeannie and the Lakers to get players coming into the NBA? Like, how did this happen? How? Bronny does not belong here. He's taking up a spot. And I get it. There's a whole nother league that players can go to, the G League, and they can make something of themselves there. But is that fair? Is that right? When there's only 400, I think it's like 490 spots in the league, why should one of those go to Bronny? He's not qualified. Nepotism only works for qualified people. So we can sit here and say, oh, you know, plenty of people do it. There's plenty of kids in there in the front office for teams. That doesn't not that so working the front office, I think even so I didn't play for you the I didn't continue to play the Gilbert Arenas soundbite because there's just so many in that one episode of his show. Kenyon Martin even goes on to say that if he had a convenience store, or if somebody has a convenience store, they're not passing it down to him, they're going to give it to their child. Yeah, I get it. But when you run a convenience store or any store, you could have a manager that runs the store. You could have someone that manages the books for you. You can have someone that stocks the shelves for you. You don't actually have to get out there and own the performance of that store. Yes, you own the store, but you don't actually have to necessarily physically own the performance of that store. You don't have to get up and and open the store and close the store and make sure that it runs properly. You don't have to be the clerk behind the counter, right? But in basketball, in any sport, in athletic success, when you're talking about athletic accomplishments and performance, you have to physically perform. It requires actual physical talent. It requires success to be earned. So you cannot conflate passing down a business to playing in the NBA. Because guess what? Athletic success, it can't be passed down. You can't inherit that. You cannot inherit athletic success. Those two things don't really go together. So the whole idea that nepotism is something that's been happening and it's we've seen other players come into the league that that were sons of former NBA players. Yeah, that's great. We have seen that. But those guys could ball. Even Luke Walton, he didn't average 5 points in college. I think he averaged 10 or more. He wasn't that great in the NBA. No, he wasn't. But he also went on to become a coach. Sometimes those who can't do very well teach. And he wasn't a good coach either, right? But I did think that it was interesting that we keep trying to, create these examples of players that, it's not adding up because it's not analogous. Austin Rivers, that's another example of nepotism. That was nepotism, especially when he went to the Clippers, but he was a lottery pick. He was a qualified NBA player. He was truly a star in high school and college. He was a star in the McDonald's game, but a true star. His father didn't force him on the McDonald's team. They didn't force players to stand back and let him cook. He went and played for Duke. He wasn't just placed on some college team because he was Doc Rivers' son. He was a true lottery pick. He earned his space in the in the NBA. Did he deserve to be there as long as he was? No, because I don't think his play on the court supported I don't think his play on the court supported him being on the Clippers for as long as he was. He was pretty much on the end of the bench. And I think the last team he might have played for was the Nuggets. So I think that Austin Rivers, he was qualified. So nepotism, sure, but he was qualified. Even when you think about the first real father-son duo, Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. Jr. was better than Sr. Bronny just needs to give us something. He needs to give us something so that we can get off his back. Trust me, I would love nothing more than to talk about Paolo Banchero. But shows like Gil's Arena, shows like First Take, all they want to do is talk about Bronny and Caitlin Clark. So that's what the media is going to discuss. Trust me, I don't want to talk about Bronny on a weekly basis. I really don't. I don't think he should be playing in these preseason games. He should be on the bench. Why is he getting all these minutes? He's not good. Basketball duo first. Who cares? Who gives a damn? We've already seen a father-son duo play together that is great. LeBron and Bronny are second. They might be the first basketball duo to do it, but it's terrible. This really isn't for the history books. This is terrible. That tweet was a fact. Am I crazy? You really want to sit here and say that Bronny James is better than half the NBA players playing right now? Seriously? The tweet was a fact, really. Delulu. Well, guys, we're going to take some phone calls. Hey, Funky Town, talk to me nice. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't have you connected. Here you go. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, dear?
I'm so good. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. You having an outstanding show tonight.
Thank you so much. I'm having so much
said,
fun with you guys. Pretending to be Mel is really fun. Maybe call me, I don't know, Melvina.
No. Let's not do that. I just got a picture of Josephine in my head when you said that. Don't do that. Don't do that. We leave it how it is. But no, I just wanted to say, and again, I tried to call in on Friday. Mel he was bumping me. The thing about, everybody was talking about nepotism, and here's the thing: there's no excuse for nepotism in sports. It is not an arena where, people get hurt in sports. Like, sports is not, you know what I'm saying? It's not there's no inheritance. You don't get to take your dad's jersey because again, unless you earn that jersey. Most athletic fathers, you're not going to just do anything with my jersey. My jersey's not going to sit there at the end of the bench or go to the G League. You get where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. Nepotism doesn't work in sports at all. And again, this has not been explained enough, I guess, to certain people. Michael Jordan actually owned a team. He owned an NBA franchise.
Right.
And
he didn't put any of his sons on that team, right?
None of his nephews, nobody. But you know what he did do? I think was a problem? He had family in the front office. And all you have to do is look at the production of that front office, what it did.
Right.
Being 100 about this. Mm-hmm. How well does that work out, having family involved in stuff that they're really not, what they really haven't gone through all the different steps, i.e. being a scout, being someone who knows how to manage these type of things, all those different aspects. And then you've got all these competing interests that happen. Mm-hmm. And then you end up getting people, like, to me, it seemed like Jordan, when it came to picks and stuff like that, he got locked in on people from the ACC and the East and certain schools. And he figured because they went through this training, the coaching that they received, which is okay, you can kind of get there. But what I'm saying is, just because you were great at one thing doesn't mean you're going to be great at another thing. It doesn't translate. Now, the thing with Bronny is, he absolutely is not qualified to be there. On his own steam, there's no way in the world he's supposed to be. When you brought up, I like how you brought up Gilbert Arenas. People may not realize this. He was the number one. He was the first pick of the second round when he was drafted. He missed out on guaranteed money because he was in the second round. Mm-hmm. And he took it out on everybody. He took it. He's like, all you teams that didn't draft me, all these people you say that were in my position that you took before me, he made it his goal to bust them. Now, again, I can't stand Gilbert Arenas, but I give him that as far as being an athlete. He was a dog about it. That's how you're supposed to think. You're supposed to have a chip on your shoulder. You're supposed to say, hold on, I played at the University of Arizona, won a national championship. Why am I not getting this burn? Why am I not getting this? And all these accolades. And he was a great player at the U of A. Period. People can say what they want to about him. But his attitude, some other things got him in the situation he was in. But again, he took it as fuel. He fueled his tank. The problem with Bronny is he's had everything given to him. Him being talked bad about is like the biggest adversity he's ever faced in his life. And people are worried about him because, bless his heart, he doesn't have the scar tissue built up to be where he's at. He doesn't have what it takes to go through something because he hasn't been through it. He hasn't been through anything. He's never been hungry. He never had to be hungry, right? Could you imagine what would happen to him if he went to Rucker Park? Can you imagine what it would look like? What blood on the dance floor would look like if he went to Rucker Park? Do you know how many middle schoolers and high schoolers in New York, in Harlem, would be there to just feast on him if he dared to show up there?
Shout out to Harlem, by the way. But yeah, he wouldn't be able to handle it. He wouldn't be able to handle it.
It would be so embarrassing because there would be nowhere to hide. We have all these people just sitting there watching. And it's just going to be an evisceration. So again, I'm sick of it as far as this whole comparison. I think, again, I've always said it. It's a joke. It shouldn't happen. It's a travesty. On some of the other things you said, and I absolutely agree with T-Bert and others, the generations are not giving enough credit to what came before them, and they don't have a clear understanding. Like the idea of Stephen A. talking about Ali and Caitlin Clark in the same sentence is so past ridiculous. It's
beyond ridiculous. Like, how do you compare Caitlin Clark to not only Michael Jordan, but Muhammad Ali? Really?
Ali, people don't understand. Ali gave up years of his prime earning and fighting time. Years.
Right. She has the luxury to go and play golf in the off season.
Exactly. I mean, she came in, and again, I'm not hating her. I mean, it's not it's not her.
It's not her. It's the media.
It's the stupidity. It's the stupidity of the people around her.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute, this dude, and like Oscar Robinson said, and Ali said it. He was too stupid to be in. He did not pass the test. He didn't have the IQ. You know, we have a test you take when you go in the military. He didn't have the IQ.
Right.
Like, people don't realize that. That was the actual true statement. He didn't have the IQ for it. Okay, so that being set aside, he was going to be there as a propaganda, and he knew that. And he said no, because he didn't agree with what was going on, and he was willing to stand on principle. You know, Kurt Flood. People don't even know. A lot of people don't even know who Kurt Flood was. Kurt Flood is the reason why there's free agency in all sport right now. A black man played for Chicago clubs. He was the one who went and started and basically was punished. He never saw the fruits of what he created, what he allowed other people to get. But he stood like John the Baptist. He put his butt on the line. He took the arrows. He took the chopping off of his head, so everyone else can feed off. And then you got these people like Anthony Edwards and all these other dumbasses who have absolutely no idea what happened before they got there. They don't know what happened last week, but they don't have a clue of the struggles that these men and women went through for them. You see, and for me, one of the things that I'm so impressed with what you guys are doing, what you're doing, what Man Down and others are doing, is that we need to understand You know, this stuff didn't happen by accident. Like there were people who put in like real work. You know, the NFL, there were NFL players that people may not even have been born. There were strikes in the NFL in the 70s and in the 80s. They went out on strike. And who led it? I think it was Hayes out of Oakland, a brother, linebacker. He was a PA guy who did that. And now they got these jokers that are giving in. You know, I don't want to get off on all that other stuff, but the point I'm making is we've been at the forefront of all these things. We have been the ones who have done the heavy lifting. And it's a shame for our young people to come back. They'll call you the N-word and think it's funny and talk to people all crazy over the phone, on the internet and whatever, ninjas and all that other crap. But they don't understand there were men and women who stood in the breach so that they can get and live the lives of luxury they're living right now. Like they made sacrifices. And a lot of people, even Shaquille O'Neal didn't. I don't know if you know the story. There was was it Elvin Hayes? It was Elvin Hayes. He met Shaq, and Shaq, he's a center. Shaq didn't know, he didn't know who he was. Well, Elvin Hayes was the guy who went to the Supreme Court so that you didn't have to stay in college for 4 years, so that you could go into the draft. He was the one who did it back in the 60s and 70s. In the 70s, he did this.
Right.
But even Shaquille O'Neal didn't know that. The big Aristotle. He didn't know all that stuff. He was talking to the man, didn't realize, dude, this is the reason why you can leave college early. This guy right here. You think, well, his numbers aren't that impressive. Well, guess what? When you lose out, you lose years because you're in litigation to even get an opportunity to come into the sport. He did that for you. He did that for everybody.
Right. You're so right.
But I think, people don't truly understand. That's the thing that disappoints me about a lot of people that'll, really irritates me to hear people call somebody else the N-word, because you should know what that word means, what it actually means.
Right.
It's calling somebody else nothing is what you're doing. You're taking a fellow human being and you're making them a thing. And to me, it drives me nuts when I see it. I thought we were going to get past that crap, but apparently we haven't.
Yeah.
But that's part of the reason why they take stuff like this for granted. They think it just happened this way. It just occurred. No, there's a reason why. There are people that you're standing on the shoulders of people. The reason why you're where you're at, why you got the view you got right now. You're standing on a mountain of people who did that for you. And again, I'm gonna get off my soapbox because again, you're having a great show, and I really appreciate how in depth you're going into this stuff, and you're getting down into the weeds, and that's important. And hopefully, some people will wake their asses up and understand. We got to come together about some stuff. We got to come together about some stuff.
Yes, mic drop.
Stop doing the enemy's work for them. When we sit up here and act foolish and stuff like that, they love that.
Yeah. No, I
you know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much for calling in, Funky Town. You're awesome. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. And again, keep doing what you're doing, sister. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. You have a good night, okay?
All right.
Thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
You got it.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So I do want to address a couple of comments. Lewis Moultrie, you said some good things here. So he's the 55th pick. Yeah, he's the 55th pick that is being treated like the number one pick, and that's the problem. So when Drake brings you out in the draft and we're televising the second round for you, and the media is hyping Bronny up. So it's not just about his last name. It's not just like, oh, we're hating on Bronny. He was being hyped up as if he were a number one pick. He is being given a 4-year contract. That's an issue. Caller from Illinois, talk to me nice.
Hey, how you doing, Dominique / Melvina?
Oh, hey, who's this? Who's on the line?
Okay, this is This is Greg Anderson calling in.
Hi, Greg.
And okay, how you doing? I just had a couple of comments.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you know what Bronny's biggest issue is in the NBA?
Besides the fact that he can't shoot?
Well, not just well. That's probably number one, but number two is he plays just like his daddy. It's just the fact that he's not 6'8", 260 pounds.
Right.
He plays just like LeBron.
Exactly.
So that's I think that's one of the biggest issues. And I don't. People keep saying, "Well, he's the 55th pick. He's the 55th pick." He should have been the 155th pick. Unfortunately, there's only like 70 roster spots, 60-some roster spots.
Right.
He should have been the 155th pick. So we can't continue to say he's the 55th pick, give him time and all of this stuff or whatever. If you step on that court, you got a guaranteed contract. You have a right to be criticized. And I even hate the way that the media is even Stephen A. Smith. He was talking about LeBron deserves this and he deserves this. But Stephen A. Smith is in the middle of a contract negotiation, and he knows good and well if the owners at ESPN was to put somebody else, put one of their sons as the face of First Take, he'd have a hissy fit. And he wouldn't be talking the same shit he's talking now.
I agree. I mean,
okay, but
yeah,
but with that being said, I remember when Dwayne Wade's son was coming out for, I think he got drafted in like the G League draft or whatever. Nobody had a problem criticizing him, and when they criticized his game, it wasn't like, oh, y'all some haters or he needs time to develop, give him an extra year. Why is it all of a sudden everybody got to bite their tongue when it comes down to LeBron's son? You can't even say what you see. All we saying is, as of right now, the boy is ass. Now, if he improves, okay, we'll reassess his game. But as of right now, he's not playing ball well, and that don't make you a hater.
Right.
I'm about to jump off. I'm enjoying the show, enjoying your commentary. I'm about to start game banging back in the comment section. I'll take your comments off there.
Thank you so much, Greg Anderson. You're the best.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Alrighty. So Bronny hasn't been a standout player at any level. The same people saying the truth is hate and saying we hate black men shining are the same people calling Westbrook West Brick. Okay, that's a really interesting comment. Bronny, he wasn't good in high school, he wasn't good in college, and he's not good as a pro. So, that's where I'm at. Sneed. Shout out to you, Sneed. I see you. He shouldn't have been picked. He isn't an NBA talent. He's not an NBA talent. We know that he's not an NBA talent. Sneed coming through with the comments tonight. Watch the footage. He is so bad instinctually. He is out of place. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more, Sneed. When I look at Bronny, I see him, he has like a blank stare. It's like the way he picks up his dribble. It's like a cardinal sin. You don't pick up your dribble when you don't have anywhere to go. He constantly does it. That's what really leads to his turnovers. His decision making is not there. Bronny doesn't even know where to stand or how to move. Forget shooting, passing, and defending. It's true. He's like a fish out of water. He's like a deer in headlights. It's just not good. He doesn't belong on the floor. Dickie Simpkins was an NBA talent, but he got in. Look up Dickie Simpkins and what did he do in high school and college? Let's see. I'll look him up. If anybody can tell me about Dickie Simpkins. Dickie Simpkins. I just want to see if he was as bad as Bronny. Nope. So he averaged 10 points in college. So he had double the production of Bronny. So let's try again. Try again, bearded conversation. I need a comparable NBA player who sucked in high school and college and also the pros and was given a 4-year contract. So that's what we have to line up to make it fit. So you need to find me a player that had a 4-year contract that was just as bad as Bronny. Caller from Minnesota, talk to me nice.
Yes, good night. Caller from Minnesota, but I'm really a Jamaican, but I'm a big basketball fan.
What's your name, sir?
Niche.
Niche?
Yeah.
Nice to hear from
I'm
you.
enjoying the show. Nice show.
Thank you so much. So what do you think about Bronny? Like, do you think that people are just making excuses for his poor play? Do you think he does deserve a spot in the league? What do you think?
All right. My
Is the
honest
criticism
opinion
deserved?
as a player, not any league, but as somebody who played the sport.
Yeah.
He's a decent player, but not fit enough for the league. No, he's really not. And I mean, if you look at even the preseason games, when he should be cutting his standing, you know what I mean? And my main point tonight is Gilbert Arenas said he's the 56th pick, and nothing is expected of him. Why would you pay a 55th pick $9 million guaranteed if nothing is expected from him? And why is he playing if nothing is expected from him?
Yeah. I think that's a really good question. Like, if there's no expectation, like Gilbert Arenas keeps saying that. What expectation? He should not have any expectation as a second round. That's fine. That would be great if he wasn't hyped up as a first round pick. So if he wasn't hyped as
LeBron tweeted, he's the one who slapped all that honey on him. So what's wrong now? The answer to him.
Exactly. So it seems that we're only allowed to congratulate Bronny. We're only allowed to praise him. We're only allowed to hype him up. We're not allowed to criticize him. That's what everybody is saying.
Stephen A. went on Kwame Brown as a 19 years old. He lived on and he made a career off Kwame Brown as a 19-year-old. He was a kid too if Bronny's a kid.
Yeah.
He deserves every criticism he's getting. He's over how many shots he's taken at the 3-point line. That's ridiculous. Anyway, thanks for your show. I just wanted to make my little point.
Thank you so much. You really made a great point. So, and I love your accent. So you're from Jamaica?
Thank you. Yes, originally. It's my first time calling. I always watch the show because I come in from work late.
Well,
so
please keep calling in. Please keep calling in, Niche. I'm going to save your number. I really appreciate your call. We want to hear your voice.
It's my first time. I want to go on the members thing because I subscribe, but I also want to be a member so I can get some private stuff.
Absolutely.
This
Please
is like my
join
first
and be a member.
calling on the B show, and I'm torn up inside. Like, people say all these crazy things, especially Gilbert Arenas. If I ever catch him as a little local Jamaican, I'll tear him apart with those nonsense he's talking. And I think John Sally tricked him, telling him he's a winner. He ain't no winner. He was a decent player, but he ain't no winner. What does he win? There ain't nothing in the cabinet.
Exactly.
For him to be coming out here and disrespecting all these men, Oscar Robinson, they have no talent. Like, they were not skilled. Like,
right.
What did your skill only make you Gilbert Arenas? They were stars in their era.
Exactly.
In your era, you will not be stars, so shut up.
Exactly. Isn't that kind of crazy that when you can't beat the competition in front of you, the go-to is to talk about players that you never faced?
And you know what's embarrassing again? It's the sport you play, and some of these gentlemen are alive. And it's funny how even dumbass JJ Redick would say they were plumbers. These guys didn't have the proper footwear. They had to go to work. They had to fight for a contract. They weren't paying well, and they were stars. You get all the luxury. You get all the PlayStation, the whatever you call it, the big contract, and you were just JJ Redick. it burns me to the core.
Yes. He had everything that he needed, all to just be JJ Redick.
And
somebody who never
you
won
weren't
anything.
even a decent role player. He wasn't even a decent role player.
Not even.
Well, I'm waiting for the season to start. I can't wait because I see some madness already. I ain't saying nothing.
I can't wait to cook JJ Redick because I can already tell that his coaching is not where it needs to be in the preseason. He hasn't made a decision that I agreed with yet.
But that's why it's really the Lake Show. Because how could they pass up qualified person like a Sam Cassell, who has proven himself as an assistant?
Yeah. But that's LeBron.
Was only coach 4-year-old girl.
LeBron didn't help, a black coach. Whatever happened to Phil Handy? Why hasn't LeBron gotten him a head coaching position?
As you called his name, I thought LeBron makes people around him better.
That's the narrative, right? That's what the media
so why
puts
is
out
Bronny
there.
doing better?
Can't figure it out. They play on the same team. You would think that his son would be better, right? You would think that he would have developed his son the way that Gilbert Arenas developed his son, or the way that Carmelo Anthony developed his child, or the way that Ron Harper developed his son. So we don't see any of that.
Piece of my personal narrative.
Mm-hmm.
If he is the GOAT, he's the greatest player, right? Why would he send Bronny to work out with Gilbert Arenas? He should have all the tools to give Bronny.
Exactly. So but I guess he couldn't be bothered. He was taking a nap, or, he was preparing for his 28th season. That's why I take my hat off to
Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo, like, what am I doing? It's best if I just retire and focus on my son to get him to where he needs to go.
Yeah.
Because they would never give Carmelo the chance to get a ring.
It's a fact. Great call, Niche. I really appreciate you.
What's your name again?
My name's Dominique.
Okay, Dominique. It was a pleasure speaking with you. And keep up the good work. And I'm going to keep watching the show. And I'll probably be commenting as well because I'm enjoying it.
Thank you so much. We all really enjoyed your call. I know I did. Please keep calling in. Really, really appreciated hearing from you. But thank you so much, Niche. Have a wonderful night.
I changed the last word. I stopped saying appreciate it. Appreciate love.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right.
All righty. You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Hey, T-Bert. Talk to me nice, buddy.
Hey, what's up, Dom? That was a good call. So between you and your callers on this topic, y'all didn't leave too much food on the plate. I'm gonna try to eat though. All right, I'm gonna try to eat just a little bit.
Come on, chef it up for me.
All right, I got you covered. All right, to some of the people in the comments that's defending the Bronny James. All right, cool. This is a safe place. Nobody's gonna call you names, and we appreciate all your opinions. In my opinion, it's impossible to defend the indefensible. Like, I tried to give Bronny some grace, but I just can't. I just cannot.
I know.
So let's address a couple of these comments that you covered. Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert, quote unquote, said he got picked right where he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
That's factually incorrect.
Bullshit.
He was not supposed to get picked 55th. He was not supposed to get picked 555th. He was not supposed to be drafted at all. Next thing. Gilbert keeps saying, and somebody in your comment section said, 55th pick, 55th pick. Y'all are really underestimating what the value of a 55th or 60th pick. There's only 60 picks in a draft. There are literally tens and tens of thousands of people trying to get one of those 60 spots.
Right.
You have college kids trying to get, one of those draft spots. You got all the overseas players all around the world. So you might have 60,000 people competing for 60 spots. That spot is worth millions upon millions upon millions, especially to a broke person that has nothing. So please stop saying, it's just a 55th pick. That's nothing. No, that is one of the highly coveted places, number spots in the draft, 1 through 60. You know, so please, if you get picked 60th, it's worth millions upon millions. You hit the lottery, basically. So stop trying to sell the narrative that the 55th pick has no expectations, right? And if you do get drafted 1 through 60, it's showing you have the potential to be one of the best players on the planet. This is one of the hardest jobs to get, supposedly, is an NBA job, because there's only 450 spots and probably 1 billion people on the planet, please. Okay? So we need to stop with this narrative. The next thing, people say, Gilbert says, why is everybody focused on the 55th pick? What about the 56th? What about the 60th? Nobody knows that. Well, there's one reason why we are focusing on him. Because before Bronny came into the league, his dad put a bullseye on his back with that dumb behind tweet. His dad put us on to Bronny. His dad put the target on his back. So, okay, here's LeBron, phony GOAT to some, GOAT to others. He says his son is better than half the dudes in this league right now, and he's in college or whatever. So now the whole world is going to watch him. That's why he's being talked about. So let's stop saying, why are we covering him? Why are we covering him? We're covering him because LeBron James said that this kid at the time, he was a kid. Think about it. He was a kid at the time, is better than these grown men, a lot of these players in the NBA. That's why he's getting so much coverage. And now, let's pile on. So now you got that spotlight on you, and you're absolutely, here's his numbers. Preseason, 5 games, 2 for 16 out of 2-pointers, 2 for 16. 3-pointers, 0 for 7. All 5 games, he has a plus minus of a -40. He's the worst player in the league. But the GOAT or phony GOAT said this kid was better than everybody. So LeBron is feeding us these topics and these narratives and why we're talking about him. If LeBron would have just said, you know what, my son's going to try out for the league. He's struggling a little bit in college, but we'll see how he makes out. Bronny wouldn't get no coverage now. But the fact that you put him out there like he's the next coming of Messiah, that's why he's getting all the attention. And last thing, Draymond. Draymond did everything but just get off the court.
I know.
I saw this one play. Draymond watched him get the ball, backed up like 8 feet. Draymond, he plays tough. And
it was a disgrace. He calls himself the greatest defender ever, right? Didn't look like it.
He's giving him a shot. And Bronny cannot walk it down. And remember the last call I said, the NBA should now be called the NBA. National Basketball Entertainment.
Absolutely.
Here's the entertainment that you talk about, and everybody in the chat, we should be saying NBA now. Here's a prime example of the NBA, National Basketball Entertainment.
T-Bert, I have a question for you. Are you open to a 3-way call with Am I Crazy? He's saying that he wants to cook you.
I'm gonna take you a Mel stance on this. I don't debate. I just spit facts. Now, if you want to get cooked, I'll cook you. But I don't really do all the debating because I consider myself, I look at basketball in its purest form, and I'll compliment where it's due and criticize where it's due. But I'm not going to get in a debate with somebody who just has, an opinion that disagrees with me. So the champ will respectfully decline. I'm not doing all that debating. But let me get back to what I was saying.
Honestly, I think Am I Crazy is cooked already. So we're good.
Oh, absolutely. So look, Curry gets back in the game, right? He gets back in the game. First of all, vets don't like to play in the preseason. He gets back in the game. What if Curry gets hurt and he's out for the season? Curry has a history of ankle issues. What if he gets hurt and gets back and, because he goes back in the game? The reason he put him back in the game for the photo opportunities. That's going to be that card. That's going to be Bronny James rookie card, right? It's going to have him defending Steph Curry, and that card is going to be worth a lot of money. That's what that was. It was strictly entertainment and business driven.
I agree, but it's a disgrace. You know what I mean? It's a mockery of the NBA for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Now, let me ask you this, back to that debate. Now, if you want me to indulge, I'll indulge.
No, honestly, I was just asking. For me, I'm fine to end the show really with your call. It was such a great call you cooked. You know, am I crazy? He was just beeping in so many times, and we've heard from him quite a bit. So,
yeah. Am I? Let me say something. Am I crazy? Real quick. Am I crazy? Appreciate all you chat, you call in, you support the show. Your opinions might vary or differ from mine, but I don't got nothing but respect from everybody in the chat and everybody who has the same opinion or opposite opinion. Once again, in the words of Sports T Dom, this is a safe place. So I don't have no beef with nobody.
I love it. Honestly, like, this really is just a great space to talk about sports, and I've been loving the engagement in the chat. I really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for calling in, T-Bert. You're awesome. You're the best. Thanks for supporting me down tonight.
Talk to you. Yeah, no problem. Talk to y'all later. Shout out to the chat. I see you, Eddie. I appreciate it. All right, chat. And Dom, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. Talk to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right.
Alrighty, guys. So we're pretty much at the end. This was such a great show. I can't believe 3 hours has just flown by the way that it did. Really great group tonight, great audience. And, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know that I'm not Mel, but, I had so much fun with you guys tonight. So just remember, do me a favor. Like the video. We had about 200 people in here tonight, so I hope we've got over 200 likes. So, make it happen. Like the video for me. If you're not subscribed to Man Down Sports, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And my name's Dominique. Tonight I was Melvina, but you guys can also catch me on Sports T, and I'll be on the panel on Friday, every Friday at 4:30 p.m. So yeah, check me out on Sports T as well as Man Down Sports. And thank you so much. Please, continue to rock with us. We'll be back on Friday. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Bye-bye.